Welcome to this channel. This channel is for education and culture. Today, I'd like to share with you an extremely critical information. Whether traditional Chinese martial art be able to recover from today's bad shape or not will rely on this information I'm going to share with you. So, if you are out there, you love your style, you love your traditional Chinese Kung Fu, you need to pay really careful on what I present here. Because this is the first time in the history that you can have a clear view on what is going on and how to fix things. So, let's get started. What is traditional Chinese martial arts? Say 200 years ago, traditional Chinese martial art is one side, it is based on military security guards. That's the mainstream for fighting, military use, okay? So as over here, General Qi Ji Guang, 1560, is the key, the core of entire traditional Chinese martial art up to today, because General Qi Ji Guang summarized the fighting and evolved the fighting of traditional Chinese martial arts because he needed in his against the Japanese pirate. So it is in this book what General Qi Ji Guang present. Serious, that's what it is, okay? Now, after this, at the Ming Dynasty, 1560 reform, it passed down and further evolved until 1850s. There is the Wing Chun in the Red Boat, where it is a military art because those people are using it for anti-Qing, real war. Okay, you can read the history, real war, no BS. Read the history of Taiping uprising or Red Boat uprising in 1850s versus the Qing. That's the bottom line. Now, so the fighting art is here. The Chinese martial arts have a characteristic. It often using the Buddhist, Taoist, or Chinese medicine practice to serve as an aid to improve the body conditioning or the handling of the military martial arts or bodyguard martial arts or fighting arts. So it always happened that this part, the Buddhist, the Taoist, the Chinese medicine, it is like today's sports science. It actually aids and it support, say, the sports training, the athletes training, okay? So that's how the proper traditional Chinese martial arts. We model it this way, so we just leave all the style, this style, that style away. We took the bare bone and see what it is. And that's how it is. And as you see in the writing of Qi Ji Guang, it is a momentum-based art. Because the Chinese military, since even the Sun Tzu, 1,000 years ago, to General Qi Ji Guang, 1560s, all is based on momentum handling of the trend of the momentum, play with it, okay? So it is like this, okay? By 1560, it is already like that. So Chinese martial art is like that. Now, problem come, or I should say that the root of the problem come is that even about 300 something years ago, people start to playing their marketing, okay? And in the mid 1600, they already talk about this internal art from Taoists and so forth, so forth. Well, you can see the Chinese have all kinds of the stuff. And the nearest of this internal stuff is about 150 years ago. Okay, when people start to link all this like the Taiji, Xingyi, and Bagua, at that time 130 years, 150 years, 150 years, all this now is as internal. So what is the content of this, the reality of internal? Well, this so-called internal people is actually do not follow the ancient Chinese martial art like this, military, really clear cut. And then you have the supportive from the Taoists, from the Buddhists, from the Chinese medicine. Those are the authentic. So the so-called internal people, instead of they go through this and this is a supportive, they emphasize on this thing. Emphasize on the Taoist part. Okay? Emphasize on the qi, emphasize on the strength, they call it jing. Okay. Now, in today's language, what is this? This is just like you making a product in Silicon Valley, your competitor have this product, you want to have a different image or marketing positioning, you emphasize a certain thing. So the internal people choose to emphasize on this. Okay? And de-emphasize on this, and of course it de-emphasize the momentum, but it emphasize on something they call jing, and it's just strength. Okay, how proficiency of using strength. So what is this? This is just taking the traditional Chinese martial art, like in the Silicon Valley, you take the generic computer and then you emphasize on a certain part of the generic computer to make it your name brand. Okay? So what is going on is like that. The entire internal is just that. Emphasize on the Taoist qi and their way of looking at things based on the Taoist instead of the traditional Chinese authentic way, which is military. So they call this military part as external. They make themselves as superior because they based on the Taoist teaching. So it's like in today's language, it's like you look at an athlete, you say, well, you know, I am more superior because I base everything on sports science, where you de-emphasize the way how to play that sport. That's how it is. That's what it is. So you never heard about momentum. Over here, since General Qi Ji Guang, all is about momentum. Your fighting is all about momentum, your strength and so forth, and your body strength and so forth. Now, over here is Qi, and then you have this Jing, which is in a plain language, a proficiency of using your strength. Now, of course, at that time, they make a product called internal. They still use this momentum stuff, but they de-emphasize it. Now, when it reached to the early 1900, this is from Sun Lutang, okay, one of the top internal art grandmaster, Sun Lutang. We know from the writing, what I shared with you just now is the case. So here you talk about Xing Yi and so forth. That is what is the case where emphasize on Qi, emphasize on your Jing, but it is no longer. You want to fight, you have the momentum, your body strength, and so forth. It go here. Now, so that is about 130 years ago. Now, from this, we also can see problem. People today take like Sun Lutang as the ultimate, where in his writing, not necessary those in 130 years ago in internal really is that advanced in terms of the Taoist stuff and in terms of fighting arts. Okay, so it is a serious problem now because you take something which is out there 100 years ago, and like in the Sun Lutang case, somebody after him, he's a pretty good guy, pretty rational guy, and he have his own thinking and his system, mindset, so forth. But the people behind him is making him like godlike, and making up all kinds of stories. Now, you got a problem because you make something which is rational and still in development as the ultimate. So everybody chasing that. Now, even worse is this. Even worse is, as in this writing, he's talking about collecting the scattering qi into Dantian, collecting the scattering qi of human into Dantian, within Dantian. So what is that? Today, you ask everybody have their interpretations. Now, you got a problem. You really don't know what it is because 100 years ago, the Chinese language and today's Chinese language is different. Okay? And also, if you don't have that experience, what is it? How can you tell what it is? I end up with speculations. So today, the internal, which is based on this, to drive their product, you end up that one really don't have the base of the real teaching of the ancient Taoists. But superficial philosophy, making those 100 years ago who is not the ultimate. Okay? Why you're losing big time on your momentum, and you keep emphasize on the Jing demonstration. That's why when you face this Xiaodong, you completely collapse. Why? Because now you're living in your own dream, which is you made up yourself. People like Sun Wukong 100 years ago didn't tell you to do that. In fact, in his writing, he said that I hope that those who have the same will continue to add on so that this thing can progress. So at that time, the internal guy have their product, okay, and have their way of looking at things. There's nothing wrong with that, okay, and keeping wanting to proceed and progress. But today's people take that whatever it is incomplete as complete. So this is what the mess of the internal today. On the other hand, martial art like Wing Chun lost this track, get into the Mui, Jisim, Shaolin, hand techniques, while it have no idea on what is the reality in 1560s. As the other day I say, one don't even have the idea of the body power. You need to have the body power. Body power of the Chinese is just mean momentum. So when your Wing Chun have only hand techniques, and your internal have all this Tao philosophy, taking what is imperfect as perfect, you drop that. So the same, like in Wing Chun, if you try to make Yip Man like Superman, like these people in the internal try to make this Sun Wukong Superman, you know you get yourself into big trouble. Because it's not supposed to be like that. So as this collect all the scattering qi into the dantian, what is it? It's just this. Do you be able to do your deep breathing? It's just that. Okay? But people get into this for today and get into this. What do they do? Completely have lost the momentum. That's why if you're keeping doing this and you do not know how to breathe, you're looking for this. You're looking for this. You can keeping talking your hand techniques. You can keep talking about your hand techniques, your grandmaster, your internal, whatever. But when it face momentum, you drop that. That's what happened to traditional Chinese martial art today. You can keeping doing your sets, but you do not know about handling of the momentum. Okay? Keeping looks good, looks internal, have chi, look Taoist. It's all this look. You already don't know about. So what happened is 100 years ago, they actually just package the stuff, emphasize on this sport science equivalent stuff, and de-emphasize on this fighting style with the handling of momentum. Well, those who emphasize on this and de-emphasize on this know what they are doing, and now you don't know what they are doing, and you keeping carry yourself away with whatever your own fantasy is. And the same with in the so-called external, because when they make the product called internal, they just call this external just to differentiate their product. And over here, which is so-called the internal, the external guy, now they also lose their momentum. So the entire thing, it become a mess like today because you lost the 1560, the reality. You live in another world. You live in the Sun Lo Tang world, or you live in the Yip Man movie world. So does all this internal stuff legit scientifically? Sure. I already shared with you in terms of Wing Chun. This is all legit stuff, even with today's sport science. You want to sing Qi to Dantian? Is this legit? Sure, it is legit. Scientifically, there's your lower abs breathing, the entire body breathing, handling of your intra-abdominal pressure. Is the momentum stuff legit? Sure. You have to have your recycling momentum. You have to have your power. Now, see, the Japanese, like Mas Oyama, you see his body, using the body power, using their shoulder, as the Chinese, the Shaolin riding, the breathing and so forth, in the Shaolin breathing. Okay, so like Mas Oyama, it is training that way. Show you. Yeah, here. Your body handling. So Mas Oyama do that using their body, using their his momentum. Gojen Yamaguchi, which is Mas Oyama's teacher. You look at him doing Tensho Kata, he have that breathing, have that thing. So the Japanese, like Yamaguchi and Oyama, is having this military, and some of those, they have a solid system. While the Chinese today have this internal, as what I just explained, it's just leaving everybody's philosophy interpretation. Qi or Jing. Have you ever seen somebody who really good at it? Then he said, no, no, no. It's Sun Lutang. 100 years ago, he is supposed to be one guy can take down a few jujitsu guy. But of course, there's a story made up. Over here, you say, wow, you know, like in the movie Yip Man. And the reality is, you lost all the body training. You lost all this recovery, aerobic base, and explosive power training. You lost the breathing training, which is you need to improve your performance, whether in aerobic or anaerobic. You lose the handling of intra-abdominal pressure. You lose the momentum handling. You lose the power handling. But the Japanese karate, like Masoyama, and you look at Kyokushin, everything for KO. And what the Chinese Kung Fu have today become this way. So with our analysis today, we know what it is. And we know the 1850s Wing Chun is a comprehensive art. It have this, the body conditioning. It has the momentum handling stuff. It has the characteristics of play on that type of martial art. It's just like Kyokushin have the Kyokushin way of play, Judo have the Judo play, Jiu-Jitsu have the Jiu-Jitsu uniqueness of play, and I have the body conditioning. So the Chinese, it made all those books the records of what is the reality there. Now, of course, everybody can go do whatever they like, but you know there is a dead end already. We know, like for example, this the Sun Lutang writing. But today, we know scientifically what it is. But today, like I explained before, we know what it is in details. So right now, people have a choice. You want to develop the real thing, go follow the traditional Chinese writing and teaching. Okay, it's in the Chinese writing still there. And if you don't know about the Chinese, you can have even have a PhD in Chinese, you still will not know it because this is a technical language stuff. It's like you can have a PhD in English, but you will not know what it's saying in the physics, quantum physics books. Okay, so that's why I make this in English, what it is. So the bottom line is stop importing those philosophy from internal to get into the Wing Chun. Why? Because it's a dead end. It's like running in a circle. The guy who you copy or you follow do not know what they are doing. It's running in the circle. One guy follow whatever guy in front, and then the other guy in front follow the other guy in front, and then the last guy in front follow you, and you just keeping spiral like that. And you know it is dead end for Wing Chun, dead end for traditional Chinese martial art, dead end for internal art. See, I do not against internal or external art. Fine, you want to make your product, call it internal, fine. But you already don't know what is actually happened in the past 150 years ago. Until you restore that, until you restore this, you don't have a martial arts. You have your speculation, but you don't have a martial arts. If you're keeping like today without having the contents of it, the details of it, keeping saying that, oh, I want to be like Bruce Lee as in the movie, or Yip Man in the Yip Man movie, or Sun Lutang as legend say, you know it's dead end. You're keeping doing those sets. Chi, look around. The Jet Li will have the best chi. If you want to look at those internal ways. Donald Yen will be the grandmaster of Wing Chun if you want to look at those hand techniques thing. But can all those things last a few seconds with Xi Xiaotong? Obviously it can. So today I present this to you. In the West, in America today, as what I just shared with you from Silicon Valley, America, we already be able to analyze the entire thing. We know what is there, what is not there. So this is to share with you. It is the time to awake for those who really care. As what I said, I do not against anybody or any lineage. You know, just if you really care, just do a proper thing for your own lineage. Don't screwing around like that, fantasy, because it will never last long. Because everybody know. No. So again, it's in my book. You need to read this book if you really want to know traditional Chinese martial arts. This is Qi Ji Guang book. This is the only book but today which is tell you what is the truth in it. All the rest translation of general Qi Ji Guang stuff is like ask somebody to translate a technical thing in Silicon Valley where they have no idea what is working in the Silicon Valley, or design a product or release a product in Silicon Valley. Okay? So that's how serious it is.